Okay, so here we are underneath the turbo. You're actually looking at the exhaust side of things. As the exhaust has been completely wrapped coming out of the turbo itself into the downpipe that I made, all 2.75 inch. It was back there through the bracket that I made around the back of the engine, and then it joins into a reducer which goes then into the 2.5 inch exhaust. The catalytic converter, I have basically gutted the catalytic converter, run a pipe straight through the middle of the cat, re-welded the cat to the pipe. So when you look at it from the outside, it certainly looks like the cat is on there. The welds are a pretty good standard, to be fair. I think the welds are certainly comparable to what you would find on a standard exhaust system. Give it a little bit of time and a little bit of rust and you won't even know that that's been welded. It doesn't look that obviously tampered with, but it'll pass the MOT and is in fact a straight through. Now, the issue with smashing out the inside of the cat is if it's clear that it's been tampered with, it is a potential MOT failure. The other issue is that if you smash the inside of it out, the exhaust gases run into this rather large chamber, slow down, and then they have to try and exit through a much smaller hole, which is obviously going to cause a restriction. So what I've done is I've run a pipe straight through the middle so there is no slowdown whatsoever, but from the outside it looks exactly as it should. The flexible joint, as you can see, is just underneath the engine. It's not close, it's bang on the floor. It's in exactly the same position you would have it as standard. This obviously is a much larger downpipe, as you can see, then running up to the front pipe which goes up to the turbo. Now, the reason that the front pipe is wrapped is all about heat energy. You want to get as much heat as you can into the turbine of the turbocharger. Now, you can't see it particularly well from here, but the turbo charger itself has got, or sorry, it's not actually fitted yet to be honest, but it will be. It's going to have a heat blanket going over the turbine hot side of the turbo. The manifold itself has a heat shield over the top of it, which has got a heat blanket underneath the shield. So all of the heat that's coming out of the engine going straight into the manifold should go straight into the turbine, and all of that energy which is in that heat should then act directly on the turbine of the turbo, which is going to improve spool and improve turbocharger performance. The heat obviously is retained in the downpipe, but because this rest of this exhaust is cool, hot air always moves towards the cool section of the exhaust, so it's going to rapidly move down the downpipe and out of the rest of the exhaust. So I anticipate a small improvement in spool, which is good. It's always, it's always very well and good having massive amounts of power, but the earlier that you can get those massive amounts of power operating, the much better. So we're getting there. We're nearly there now. All we need is one more joiner and then it's time to start the engine.